Oops, I should change that. Bam. Oh, shit, that's loud. Hello, everybody. My name is Remix the Idiot, and welcome back to Ace Attorney Dual Destinies Phoenix Capcom Co. Ltd. Right. Reserved all rights 2013. Alright, looks like it's time for the second day, and we're gonna do some investigation. That's pretty weird. Usually first episodes are just trials. This isn't exactly how I envisioned the second day of this trial to start. Nope, never mind. There's not gonna be any investigation. But given how things ended yesterday... Good morning. Silent treatment? What's with the silent treatment? The mood sure is tense. Not that that's any surprise. Awkward.
Oh, hey! Did you read the paper this morning, boss?
Huh? The paper? That came out of left field.
Didn't read it? Then you don't know the big news! Somebody spotted an abominable...
Tell me you know the difference between a paper and a tabloid, Athena.
It might show up in the forecast where you live, Junie, eh? So you'd better watch out, okay?
And we're back to this.
You really should read the story for yourself. I can't even begin to do it justice.
So much for breaking the ice. Justice? Yikes! Those were the words you couldn't at any point should have ever.
Huh?
Oh, poor Polo. And it's all my fault. It's all my fault. Oh, I got a message from Discord. I'm very sorry about that. Cool, we got looting.
Fina! Oh, Junie, what was I thinking? I'm so sorry.
What we found yesterday. It's not Apollo's dead body, thank goodness. He'd been assaulted by someone with a blow to his head and was lying unconscious. Yeah, to no one's surprise. My cliffhanger probably didn't leave anyone wondering if Apollo died. We rushed him to the hospital right away, and it looks like he's going to pull through. But it was still quite a shock to stumble into a scene like that. Is Miss Woods alright, Athena?
Well, I managed to get her to stop crying. Now she's resting on that sofa over there.
I guess she really feels responsible for what happened to Apollo.
Poor Junie. She believes that the reason Apollo was attacked is because he was helping her look for something in that courtroom.
Oh? Guess I can see why she'd think that. By the way, how are you doing? I really am still just giving Phoenix that same voice. But he doesn't have a beanie anymore, and no beard.
Who, me?
Yeah, you. I know you're concerned about Miss Woods, but are you alright?
Me? I'm doing just fine, boss. I mean, yeah, it was a huge shock, but I'm alright. People who studied analytical psychology are great at times like these.
They are. I study psychology and I'm still fucking depressed. Learning more about depression just makes you more depressed in my experience.
After all, they've learned how to control their own emotions too.
Clearly, they have not, Athena, because you surely can't. Especially with that thing hanging around your neck all the time. There's no denying she's a real trooper, though. Apollo doesn't remember a thing, does he?
Yeah, he can't recall anything from the time right before he was assaulted. Nothing about what he was doing in courtroom number 4 or who assaulted him. The doctor said it's probably due to that hit he took to the head.
Assaulted in a court of law and losing your memory at that. I know how that feels.
But who in the world would do such a thing, huh, Mr. Wright?
The real killer, obviously.
Grr, just wait till I get my hands on the coward who hurt our Polo.
Now, Athena. Thought you said you were in control of your emotions. Let's just focus on helping Miss Woods, okay? I admit, I am just as upset as you.
Okay, boss, you're right.
Apollo's assailant can wait until after we clear Junier's name. Nah, you don't have to worry. That's the spirit. Now, let's see. Better check the court record one more time before the trial starts. Why, is there something new? Memory serves, when I have more than 6 pieces of evidence, I should be able to switch pages. Oh.
Eartha, Mr. Wright, I'm ready whenever you are.
Alright, let's get ready to rumble.
You bet.
Everything that happened with Apollo, I didn't have time for a proper investigation. Can't let that stop me, though. I have to get this right for Miss Wood's sake, and Apollo's too. Welcome to being a defense attorney where an investigation is actually apparently illegal as a defense attorney. 4 was a bad, unlucky number anyway. But I'm gonna miss that room, even though even though all courthouses are literally the same. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Juniper Woods. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is also ready, Your Honor. Now then, I believe I instructed the prosecution to further their investigation. Were you able to locate the remote switch in question? I'm afraid the remote switch is still missing, Your Honor. I must say I'm disappointed, Mr. Payne. Not angry, just disappointed. Not mad, I'm just disappointed. I apologize, Your Honor. Aha. The prosecution's just as unprepared as I am. There's a separate matter, however, that I would like to bring up during this trial. A separate matter, you say? And what might that be? I assume you're aware that another incident occurred during yesterday's trial. And speaking, of course, of the assault on Mr. Justice in the ruins of courtroom number 4. Uh-oh. Why is he bringing that up? Yes, what a truly harrowing experience it must have been. Poor Mr. Justice. At the time of the attack, Mr. Justice was not alone. He was with the defendant, Miss Juniper Woods. Yep, I knew he was gonna use this. Isn't going where I think he's going with this, is he? The prosecution wishes to indict Miss Woods on the charge of Mr. Justice's assault. Order! Order in the court! Mr. Payne, the incident under deliberation here is the courtroom bombing. The assault on Mr. Justice has nothing to do with this trial.
Ah, but I believe there is a connection between this case and Mr. Justice's assault.
Please take a moment to consider these facts. Both events occurred in courtroom number 4. This is the location in courtroom number 4 where the unconscious Mr. Justice was discovered. As you can see, it's quite close to where Detective Arm's body was found. The question is, why did the culprit feel the need to maliciously attack Mr. Justice? Why indeed? What do you believe their motive to be, Mr. Payne?
I believe Mr. Justice found something in that courtroom while Miss Woods was with him. Evidence that fingered her as the perpetrator of the bombing.
You mean he found something incriminating evidence?
Precisely, and so I surmised that the defendant picked up a piece of rubble and hit Mr. Justice on the back of the head in order to silence him. Junie would never do such a thing. She was devastated when we found Apollo hurt like that.
Miss Psyche, please control your outbursts.
It is the prosecution's belief that by deliberating on Mr. Justice's assault, we will draw ever closer to the truth of the courtroom bombing itself.
Very well. Miss Woods is hereby officially indicted on the charging of assaulting Mr. Justice.
What?
Why are you listening to Mr. Toupee over there? Josuke heard that somewhere far away, and then he was all like, "What did you say about my hair?" Although, during a conversation yesterday, yeah, he very much found something. Very incriminating. Not to Woods, mind you. Maybe the two incidents really are related after all.
I'd like to start by hearing from the defendant herself.
Very well. Bailiff, please bring Miss Woods to the witness's stand.
I am sorry. I can't seem to stop.
Miss Woods, is she still really upset about Apollo?
Miss Woods, you went to the ruins of courtroom number 4 with Mr. Justice, did you not? Yes, I did. Good, good. If you would then please testify about what happened in the court.
Should be simple enough.
During the trial yesterday, I was overcome by a fit of coughing. Apollo stayed with me and we went to the courtroom ruins together. But then, I was called back to this courtroom to give testimony. Apollo insisted on staying behind in courtroom number 4. I swear I didn't attack Apollo. Why would I ever hurt such a kind person?
So, Mr. Justice stayed by your side while you were feeling unwell. What an admirable young man. I thought his loud voice was his only outstanding speech.
You may look like a little imp at times, but Apollo can be really nice. No! Come on, Athena!
Testify on his good character. I hope she didn't hurt her wrist backhanding that one out.
No, not you too, Phoenix!
But one has to wonder, why did Mr. Justice stay behind in the ruins?
I think Apollo might have figured something out.
Something? What kind of something?
Something to do with the courtroom bombing? Kind of something, I think.
Oh, new evidence for the case, was it? That's a very big kind of something indeed.
I believe so. You mentioned looking for some evidence when I was called away.
Objection!
Just as I thought, there is a connection between the two incidents. But the defendant told a very big lie, Your Honor.
What lie is that?
When she learned Mr. Justice would be looking for evidence, she attacked...
Where's your goddamn proof? Come on! Prosecutors are so based. They're allowed to call witnesses and say things out of their asses without needing to present any evidence.
She attacked him to give herself the chance to destroy that evidence. No, I never. Miss Woods repaid Mr. Justice's kindness with violence. We found proof of her foul deed there in the courtroom ruins.
Ah! What on earth?
Do you see it? There in front of Mr. Justice's right hand. Witness the message, the message he left us.
It's written in blood. Wood, W-O-O-D-S. Why isn't that?
That's right, Your Honor.
It says Woods in capital letters.
What?
I submit that Mr. Justice left us with the name of his attacker before he fainted.
Oh boy!
How are we getting out of this one?
No, this can't be true. Why would Apollo write my name? Mr. Wright, the nerve of him leaving that message. Why would he do this?
Hey, don't take it out on me. I don't understand it any more than you do. When we discovered Apollo yesterday, there was no writing. After that, they were in courtroom number 4 with Apollo the whole time. We couldn't investigate anything ourselves, and had to leave everything to the police. Still, I never thought they would find some bloody writing there. Now then, please begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Time to write in some Wright miracles. Patented. Didn't steal it from any grammaries. This is our courtroom magic. Ours and ours alone. How nice we don't need to use the microphone anymore, we can just press the button. You always cough when you get nervous, Mr. Woods?
Yes.
Mr. Wright, please do not make Miss Woods nervous by pressing her so ruthlessly. That barely even qualified as a quasi-question.
Let's help her relax with a little small talk before we dive into cross-examination. You know, ask her about her boobies. Why? Why? Why do we keep going there? Why? I wonder why!
Anyway, as I was saying, you know, ask her about her boobies and her crushies and stuff. I'm just gonna go full on with my fucking stuff. Her crushes? Really? I know about this. Yeah, let's not. Why exactly did you go to the courtroom ruins?
We went to look for my medicine to stop my coughing.
Your medicine? Why would your medicine be in courtroom number 4?
I dropped it in the heat of the moment. Bumrat Riney. He was keeping my medicine safe for me. He has a little compartment that I can put things in, you see?
If only Fanty has the same type of pocket. That's where the bomb was inserted. More similarities.
I had put my medicine for my coughing fits inside Bumrat Riney. When I told Apollo about it, he said he'd help me go look for him. There was so much rubble in there, I was worried, but there was no rubble or anything in front of the witness stand. So when we got inside, Apollo went straight there. He started looking for my Riney in that area. It was so nice of him to do that for me in spite of all his injuries. Apollo, so strong and kind, just like the trees of the forest.
The way she makes him sound, you'd think Apollo was some kind of ancient god. I mean, he is. Apollo is the name of a god. Oh, wait. Looks like Phoenix realized it as well. So that's why you went to the ruins. I see. That seems to be quite an important fact. Please add it to your testimony, Miss Woods. Oh hey, we got the court diagram. Area around the witness stand. Are you sure about that?
I'm sorry. Did I say something wrong?
No, of course not. I was just testing my hearing. Let's not upset her. Let's not upset her. Athena's gonna fucking whack you if you do.
Yes, I'm sure that's where we searched first.
She was called back here, then there's no way she could have smacked Apollo. That's when you were called to the stand after Mr. Tonate's testimony, right?
Yes, the bailiff came to courtroom number 4 and brought me back to this courtroom.
What about Mr. Justice? Did he come with you, or did he stay behind? Not ask her about Apollo. I know, we'll use some small talk here to get her to relax a bit. Do you have any hobbies, Miss Woods?
Hobbies? Oh, well, I love growing vegetables in my garden. And I love to knit. I like sewing too. I made this outfit myself.
Keep it up, Mr. Wright, it's working. Ask her if she has a crush on anyone. Ahem! So, is there anyone in particular you like right now? Mr. Wright, is that question even remotely related to this case? To this case? Not really. Mr. Wright, you will refrain from asking questions unrelated to the case at hand. Sorry, Your Honor. -1 to brownie points. Miss Woods, please continue with your testimony. I believe you were telling the court about your attack on Mr. Justice. So, you think Mr. Justice is kind?
Yes, very kind. He rescued me. He's like the sun, strong and warm. He makes me feel strong too.
The only adjectives I associate with the sun are sweltering and oppressive.
But then Apollo got hurt and it's all my fault. Junior, Apollo's going to be fine. He's just like the sun, right? Well, the sun doesn't just drop out of the sky. You really think he'll be fine?
But the sun does go down at night.
And that means Apollo could...
Mr. Payne, I do not think much of men who make young ladies cry. Yeah!
So Apollo was trying to help Juniper. Who knew that Apollo could be such a sweetheart?
It's been pretty hard on him too. All that rubble everywhere.
Now that I think about it, there's something odd about what Apollo was able to do.
No, considering what Miss Woods said just now, I think you're right. That courtroom was in a very unusual state after all. Which leaves the million-dollar question. What would explain this contradiction? Anyway, let's see what happens when I present what I suspect is our answer. Nani? What contradiction? Dang it, I'm a little lost. I believe I know what contradiction we're talking about. Let's just go ahead and press it to her. How do I present? With my buttons? Whatever. Objection! Well, shit. I should have kept the Phoenix Wright trilogy HP bar with the things. This HP bar sucks. You never change, do you? Objection! Dang it. Okay, this isn't looking very good. all stayed with me. We went to the ruins together. Diagram, the courtroom. Near the witness stand. This is near the witness stand. Called back to this courtroom to give testimony. Insisted in staying behind. Considering what Miss Wood said just now, I think you're right. What was Apollo able to do with what he said? Maybe this is the one I gotta present. I did say something about this. Nope, I'm still wrong. Shit. Ah! I suck! I already wasted 3 of my 5 hits. Okay, yeah, let's try out that mechanic. Why not? Athena, help me. Alright, so this was the correct thingy. Okay, since I'm in a precarious position right now, well, fuck. Maybe this? You're fucking joking me. So I started this search with the witness stand, you say? That's right, I guess. Maybe he wanted to start from the furthest point in the room. He was being so brave. And strong. And sexy. And manly and handsome. That's odd. Under the circumstances, he shouldn't have been capable of that. But he was, and he still is. Might not look it, but he really is brave and kind too. No, that's not the part I'm finding fault with. Someone has a crush on Apollo. What you're claiming is something that no one should have been able to do. But I should think that anyone can be brave and kind if they wanted to be, Mr. Right? True, anyone can be brave and kind, but if you would please take a look at this diagram. With a courtroom in the state, how was it possible to walk up to the witness stand?
Oh!
I see your point. The rubble blocks off access to the area around the witness's stand.
Does such a tiny inconsistency even matter? Perhaps the witness is simply misremembering it.
Right now I'm not so sure it matters. A real man doesn't make mountains out of molehills, you know. But that's precisely what Mr. Wright does best. I call slander, Your Honor! So, was it really impossible to approach the witness stand? I have to say, it's a bit hard to tell with any accuracy just from this diagram. Mr. Payne, do you have any other photos of the crime scene?
Let me see, Your Honor. Ah, yes. I have one more. Here it is. It's a more pulled back version of the photo I presented before.
Huh? What's that hunk of metal on wheels?
Mr. Payne, the dark object in that photo, Mr. Patonate's bomb transport case. That's right. Is there some problem?
Ah, yes, that transport tape was there in courtroom number 4 when the bomb went off. Must have been there ever since.
Oh, that's it.
Miss Woods, have you remembered something?
Yes, I just realized. Its position. It's different from before.
Its position? The position of what?
The position of that big metal thing.
The bomb transport case?
Yes, when Apollo and I went there, it was in a different place. Where the case is in the photo was open space, so it was easy to search the stand.
I see. So where was the transport case when you and Mr. Justice saw it?
As I recall, I think it was more to the right.
The right. That means, in that case, the case was over there at the time of Apollo's attack. Who cares where the transport case was when what? What difference does it make? It has nothing at all to do with what we were talking about. Objection! Objection! Where the transport case was has everything to do with this discussion. In fact, it's so important that it's enough to turn the prosecution's argument on its ear. What? Well, that certainly sounds very relevant indeed. And you sound as though you know where the case was at the time of the attack. Yes, Your Honor, this diagram represents the crime scene as shown in the photo. And this is where the transport case at the time of the assault on Mr. Justice. Alright, I have this. The bomb transport case was here at the time of Apollo's attack. Your Honor, I assert that this is where the transport case was at the time of the assault. But that's
inconceivable!
Miss Woods, I like to imagine when Payne is in a lot of pain, he turns back to Winston's, to the other voice, you know, with a objection! Miss Woods, was this where the transport case was when you saw it?
Yes, that's where it was.
Thank you, Miss Woods. I'm sure the court has noted an interesting fact about this position. The transport case covers up the writing in blood! Exactly. The transport case was in that position at the time of the assault. And no message could have been written there, because the case was in the way. Which leads us to conclude that Mr. Justice couldn't have left that bloody writing. Why should we believe the defendant's claim that the case was in a different position? He's obviously lying. The fact that the case was moved after the assault on Mr. Justice is proved by more than Miss Wood's testimony alone. What? And where's this proof you're talking about? It's right here in the crime photo. I'm keen to see this proof myself, Mr. Wright. What's in this photo indicates that the transport case was moved after the assault. All the proof you'll need, Your Honor, is right here. I'm afraid I don't follow. What?
Mr. Wright, I'm sensing feelings of doubt from you. Which means you're just taking a wild stab in the dark, aren't you?
Ouch, you're good. I bet you can also tell how I'm about to feel in a few seconds too. First time in a while I've seen those words. But there's tire tracks! I pointed at the tire tracks! How is that wrong? I thought that was right! Why is it wrong? Oh my fucking god, I hate this game! Please take a look at the mark that runs over Mr. Justice's bandages here. I see it, but what is it? This mark was made by one of the casters from the transport case carrying the bomb. As the case was moved, it ran over his bandages. In other words, the transport case was originally to the right of Mr. Justice. And after Mr. Justice was assaulted, the transport case was moved. What? Just as Miss Wood said, the case was covering the writing at the time of the assault. Therefore, it was impossible for Mr. Justice to have left that message in blood. No! Ah, so we are still on the... It's just because it's Athena, and the possessions are...
You did it, boss. It was a real nail-biter, but you pulled it off.
Yep, that should bring down the prosecution's claim like a house of cards. Order! Order in the court! Mr. Wright, that was a very clever deduction. Ah, it was nothing, Your Honor. Nothing but pure genius! Take that!
Boss, I'm sensing a definite smug and braggy vibe coming off of you.
I've just one question, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. If Mr. Justice didn't leave this message in blood, then who did? Huh?
What?
Oh! Well... Looks like I should have taken that train of thought through to the last station.
Well, I've heard a lot about this. So this is Mr. Wright's famous bluffing technique, is it?
Ah, this feeling! It brings back memories of old days! Back when you carved out a name for yourself by bluffing your way through thick and thin!
Gee, Mr. Wright, the judge kinda makes you sound no better than a 2-bit con man.
It pulled him through his 7-year-long career of being a poker guy.
You made your argument with such confidence, Mr. Wright. I'd like to hear your answer with just as much confidence.
Hey, until the judge asked the question, it didn't catch on either, Buster.
What now, boss? I hope you didn't bluff your way into a corner.
Think, Phoenix, think. There must be a way through this. I have to dig my way to the truth somehow. I could have written that message in blood. The culprit! Apollo didn't leave that bloody writing.
Maybe it was Apollo's attacker who wrote it and made it look like Apollo did it?
That seems like the most reasonable explanation.
But wait a minute. I just realized something, boss.
What is it?
Look at the amount of blood in the photo. It doesn't look like Apollo bled very much. I wonder if it's even possible to write out Woods with just this much.
Hey, you're right. Good thing Apollo didn't lose that much blood. Might be the factor in why he survived the assault.
Since there was so little blood, that pretty much rules out his attacker, huh?
I guess so. If it wasn't his attacker, who else could it have been? Who could have written that message in blood? It was... Apollo! The person who wrote the bloody message was none other than Mr. Justice. Pardon me? It sounds stupid, but I'm almost certain this is the correct answer.
What? Huh? Mr. Right, did you just finish saying that it couldn't have been a bolo?
Okay, never mind, I'm wrong.
Don't try to blame it on old age.
Oh yeah, I did just say that, didn't I? Not only does your head resemble a bird, but it seems that you have a bird brain as well. Okay, then it was someone else. It wasn't Apollo who could have left that bloody message. Why, it was Candace, of course. Who are we kidding here? This person left the bloody writing! And what do you base this claim on? Do I really need to base my claim on something? Yes.
Boss.
Of course you do. Don't tell me you don't have anything at all to back up your assertion. Nothing in particular, really. That won't do, Mr. Wright, but the penalty will make up for your deficiency very nicely. Damn it! Another person who shed blood. Wait, what? I can only think of 2 other people. Oh shit! To be honest, I don't actually have any real proof of this, but I've come this far. There's no turning back now. Besides Apollo, there was one more person who shed blood at this crime scene. A person who shed blood? You don't mean... Oh, but I do. I believe it was Candace Arm who left behind this message in blood. What?
What? Detective Arm? Are you sure you know what you're doing here?
Nope.
What kind of ridiculous assertion is that? If you had said the attacker left the message to throw people off, it might have made sense.
At first glance, that would seem to be the most reasonable explanation. However, Apollo didn't shed enough blood to write such an extensive message.
Uh-oh.
Ah, I see. Even the photo makes it clear there wasn't enough blood to write all those letters. And Mr. Justice did survive. I suppose he didn't bleed very extensively in that case. Why would Detective Arm write the defendant's name? There's no connection between the 2 whatsoever. Ah, but what if she didn't?
They'd never even met each other.
That's very true. Well then, let's see. Then maybe the intended meaning of the message is not what it appears to be. The intended meaning?
Not what it appears to be?
Maybe the message was not intended to be words. Coming from you, that's quite a bold statement, Mr. Wright. You wish to assert that this bloody writing could have some other meaning? Yes, Your Honor.
Something I pulled out of a wormhole. Could turn out to be true, right? It clearly says words, as anyone can plainly see. What other meaning could it possibly have?
But Candace Arm was a detective. Maybe words only means something to the police. Like a police scatter code, for example. Or case incident files. I didn't think of that.
You may have tricked His Honor, but you'll never get the best of me. I have a thing for studying on the weekends, as you may have already guessed. And there's no such radio code as words in this state, dear Mr. Wright.
Is that a fact?
Don't look at me, I know as much as you do about police codes.
Enough of this. I was quite taken with the defense's new theory. But if they can't substantiate it with anything, then I must end things here.
No, please, wait, Your Honor.
Very well, but before we discuss this theory any further, I demand a plausible explanation. So, Mr. Wright, what is the true meaning of the bloody writing?
Well, I believe it's...
And no stalling! If you can't come up with an answer quickly, I will declare this discussion officially over.
In trouble now. What other meaning could it have besides the obvious one?
I'll use this save for thing and the other save for the startup stuff. Maybe it means something in another language? Maybe it's a code? Think, Phoenix. You can do this. Which piece of evidence will tell us what the word woods really means? BAM! A bomb transport case? I've about had it up to here with your shenanigans, Mr. Wright. Take a look at the numbers on this case, Your Honor. L10015R. Doesn't the string look vaguely familiar? L100? What does that have to do with anything? What could those numbers possibly have to do with the case at hand? Now, please take a look at the bloody writing shown in the crime photo.
Oh, I see it.
Atta girl. That's one on my side. It says woods. Or you could say it's a horse of a different color, Your Honor. The first character isn't a W. It's actually an L and a 1. The next two are zeros. Oh, my goodness! The true meaning behind the bloody writing isn't Miss Woods' name. It's the number engraved in this bomb transport case. Oh yeah, we're winning. What are you talking about? The next part doesn't make any sense. The next number is a 1, but the bloody writing says D.
Objection!
The number on the case and the bloody writing can be made to match up quite easily. This is how the number on the transport case can be made to match the bloody writing. Please erase the third downward stroke of the W and the curved point of the D. Well, would you look at that? Eliois? No, Your Honor. It isn't meant to be read as a word. It's the number L10015. Which if you take away the final R, it's the exact same number that's on the bomb transport case. Erase 2 lines and they match up, you say? Well, it can't change anything into anything else simply by erasing 2 lines. What if you erase 2 lines from your name? Would you be happy as a Well, would you, Mr. The only right spelling is right. Okay, I'm doing pretty well here, and I think I've drawn the right conclusion. Detective Arm's real message to us is the bomb transport's case number. Your Honor, the 2 lines were added by the real culprit to intentionally mislead people. What? The original message Detective Arm left behind was the transport case number. Whoever assaulted Apollo changed the message.
You're right, boss.
What do you suppose Detective Arm is trying to tell us? Good question. What does this number represent? Candace Arm lost her life in the courtroom bombing. Her dying message could only have had one purpose.
No!
Tell us the name of the one responsible for the bombing. We're all the people. Not the same. Well, don't just keep us in suspense, Mr. Wright. Tell us who was she trying to name? The culprit that the victim was trying to identify is none other than... Athena! Detonate. The defense wishes to indict Mr. Tadonate on the charge of the courtroom bombing. Tadonate? Apparently disabling bombs isn't Mr. Tonate's only specialty. Somehow the victim must have realized that he was the bomber. So when she was caught in the blast, she left this bomb transport case number as her dying message. She used Mr. Tonate's own ID number to figure him of the crime. Why would anyone go out of their way to write an ID number? Couldn't they simply write the person's name? Got a good point there. What do you have to say to that, Mr. Wright? That only Detective Arm would know the answer to that. But allow me to offer a theory. Whereas Detective Arm couldn't recall Mr. Tonate's name in the heat of the moment. As I recall, this was their first meeting between the two. It's entirely possible they wouldn't have been familiar with each other. Or maybe using the ID number was a way to hide its true meaning from the real culprit. Thus blowing the odds that they would erase the bloody writing. But no matter what the reason, the important thing is the meaning behind her message. The fact remains she wrote Mr. Tonate's ID number. Now, just one moment here. There hasn't been any proof yet that this was indeed Detective Iron who wrote it. The bloody writing wasn't found during the investigation after the blast. Detective Arm left the message it should have been found at the time. Naturally, Mr. Tonate hid it before anyone could discover it. There's a simple explanation for how he was able to do so. What? Mr. Tonate was able to cover the message up because he is the first to find the body. The first person to discover the bloody writing was Mr. Tonate himself. When Mr. Tonate saw that the victim had written his ID number, he used the bomb transport case to cover up the bloody writing as a stopgap measure. Ah, so that's what the message in blood was under the transport case. Didn't have enough time to try and scrub away the writing. If he didn't report the body right away, he would look suspicious. So those letters lived on to serve another function, when Mr. Tonate used them in another incident. Oh, the assault on Mr. Justice! Exactly. Mr. Tonate had upon a plan to use the bloody writing for his own purposes. So he didn't clean it away. Instead, he made it look like Mr. Justice wrote it. By adding 2 lines to the writing the Detective Arm left behind. He changed the meaning of the message. He made it look like Mr. Justice was accusing Miss Woods of the attack. So that means the only person who could have altered the bloody writing was the courtroom bomber, who was the same person that assaulted Mr. Justice. And that person is Ted Tonate! Gah! Order in the court! Order, I say! I win. Feels like we will have to hear from the bomb specialist himself. Mr. Payne, please have Mr. Tonate take the witness stand. Yes, Your Honor. I feel like getting some Chucky all of a sudden. Damn you, Chucky ads. I always skip them when they happen, but they happen so often. Subliminal message for the win. I'll be right back. Oh boy, all this chocolate can possibly be good for me. I have chocolate candy as well, flat tops. Although it isn't actually chocolate and neither is Chucky. I'm pretty sure. Now, if it were something like kisses. Still good. Alright. Here where I live, it's usually so hot these things melt if you're not careful.
That was great, Mr. Wright.
He's doing what I do best, which is flying by the seat of my pants. Finally, John Mr. Tony back onto the witness stand. Looks like you'll get your wish, Goggle Man. Now watch me take your lies apart. Welcome back. Long time no see. How long was it? Just a day, in fact. Mr. Tonade, I'm afraid we have a few more questions for you. I understand the situation, Your Honor. I was keeping close eye on the proceedings from the gallery. The allegations are all laughable.
Objection!
Wouldn't be laughing if I were you, Mr. Tonade. The message in blood matches your ID number. Same ID number that's there on that bomb transport case. Such a far-fetched theory, no better than a tangled ball of wires. I've had them untangled for you in no time at all. You were the first person on the scene after Detective Arm left her message in blood. You were the only one who could have hidden that writing, and then used it again later. I see. But then let me ask you, do you have any proof that Detective Armour wrote that message? That's a very good question. Well, do you, Mr. Wright? The best way to prove that Detective Arm wrote that message is to analyze the blood. Your Honor, I requested a DNA test be performed on the blood itself. Once we know whose it is, it will be obvious as to who wrote the message. Very well. Bailiff, please put in a request for a DNA test with the forensics team. It will be some time before we have a result of the analysis. Until then, let's hear more from the witness. I would like nothing more, Your Honor. I want the court to hear how ridiculous the defense's theory is. I admit I was the first one on the scene after the explosion. But there was no bloody writing there at the time. Anyway, there's no way that the arm could have written it. She struck her head on rubble and died near the courtroom entrance. He was too far away from where the bloody message was found. So saying that the victim's body was nowhere near where the writing was. Precisely. It's as plain as day that she could not have written it. It's true that the body was discovered near the entrance of the courtroom. Please have a look at this crime scene photo. As you can see, there's blood on the rubble near the victim's body. She must have died after hitting her head there. I see. Alright then, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness. Do you have what it takes to take my infallible testimony apart? A pen and a will. Why were you the first person in the scene? To secure the area, it is regulation for a bomb disposal specialist to enter first. In other words, you had the opportunity to alter the bloody writing then, didn't you? Well... Mr. Wright, please don't interrupt. Mr. Tony is about to give testimony that will show just how wrong your reasoning is. Darn, I think he was just about to say something interesting too. When I went in and saw the aftermath, well, it was quite a disaster. You were able to tell this even with those goggles on? With these goggles, there's no way I could have missed something like that. I can see quite well with them. I can see every hair on your spiky head. Oh, you have a few grays, Mr. Wright.
What? Poor Mr. Wright. You're always working so hard keeping our office together.
Wait a minute, I don't have any gray hairs. Just kidding.
Objection!
I object to the witness's attempt to prematurely give me gray hair. Mr. Tony, this court frowns upon untoward comments on a person's hair or lack thereof.
I'm sensing a great sorrow coming from the judge.
My apologies, Your Honor. May I please continue my testimony?
Hold it!
She didn't write it? Then who do you propose did? Mr. Justice, of course. Just before dying, he wrote the name of his stack at Juniper Woods.
Final message from your poor subordinate.
Poor Mr. Justice. I'm starting to get all misty-eyed. Apollo's not dead, guys.
How can you be so sure it wasn't the dead arm who wrote the message?
Very simple.
Hold it!
You imagine she was thrown back by the force of the blast? The bomb can inflict damage not only from the explosion itself, but also substantial secondary damage from the blast wind.
Detective arm unfortunately hit her head on some rubble. It's stated in her autopsy report as well.
Cause of death, trauma to back of head. Now do you see, Detective Arb could not have written that message. The reason for that being...
Hold it!
Isn't it possible she could have crawled to the area of the bloody message?
If that were true, then how did she return to the spot near the entrance?
Maybe she crawled back after writing it.
HMPH. Hectometers. Hey, did this guy just me? Should have said miles per hour.
Would you like to get down on the floor and give us a demonstration of your theory?
Huh? No, thank you.
The victim's body and the writing are several yards away from each other. There's no way she could reach. Quite the conundrum.
That means something is off somewhere. Must be a contradiction.
Ah, maybe the body was moved. That doesn't explain how blood got onto the rubble.
Or that was done by the real culprit after the fact. that's the case, then something about that might contradict the evidence we have. Took some incredible leaps in logic to discover this, to figure this one out. L10015, and there's an R. Hit concealed. Gonna take another leap of logic for me to figure this other one out. Too far away. There's something contradictory here. But I don't know what. How long have I been recording? Looks like it's gonna be another 1.5 hour video. Hopefully I find it soon, so it can be 1.5 hours.
Objection!
Damn it. Chuck her head on rubble near the courtroom entrance. Eh.
Objection!
God dang it. Perhaps I will need help once more from Athena.
Objection!
No, god damn it. Yeah, whatever. Let's go help. Ask for help. Yeah, this was the right one. The body was moved after the fact. Didn't I already present this?
Objection!
Damn it. Can't exactly load my save file. So this is the best way to restart. Since I don't do save states.
Objection!
Dang it. I don't know where to go with this. What about if I just show the autopsy?
Objection!
You're fucking kidding me. I need some water. I'll be right back. All this chocolate. Ugh. You're a terrible liar, Mr. Tonate. Take a look at this autopsy, specifically the part about Detective Arm's head injury. Cause of death. Trauma to back of head caused by impact with a flat object. Yes, what about it? Now take a good look at the bloody piece of rubble. It's sharp and pointed.
Hey, you're right, boss. It is pointy. Just like your hair.
That is odd, isn't it? What could be the meaning of this contradiction? I believe it means the victim did not hit her head in this piece of rubble. The bloodstain you see is just another fabrication. Its purpose is to mislead us into thinking the victim died near the courtroom entrance. Are you claiming the culprit moved the victim's body? That's exactly what I'm claiming. The victim hit her head at some other location, most likely on the floor or some other flat surface. This location was somewhere near where the bloody writing was found.
In that case, she definitely could have written that message.
Your Honor, I have the results of the bloodstain analysis. Ah, very good timing. Let's take a look. According to this report, the message was written in Detective Arm's blood. And as the defense claims, only the parts of the message were added afterwards. Were written in by Mr. Justice's blood. It appeared that the defense's assertion was correct after all.
Yes, you did it. You're right, boss.
I have to drive it home. Take a good look at the bloody writing analysis rate later. H111. Mr. Tonate, it is now apparent that you have told several lies to this court. I have some sort of explanation for yourself. Fine, I will confess.
You will? Then why are you so calm?
This time I will tell the truth. Oh boy. And by truth you mean another lie. It is true that Detective Arm wrote my ID number. She very plainly wrote L10015R. I was shocked, but I did not detonate the bomb. Detective Arm must have mistaken me for the real bomber. Not wanting to be accused, I moved the body and covered the writing. My bad. I see. So it is your assertion that you merely moved the body, is that it? That's still a crime. That is correct. I did not kill Detective Arm. Oh well, if that's all you did, then... Wait a minute. That in and of itself is a criminal act. Glad to see you finally crossed that finish line, Your Honor. Very well then, your cross-examination please, Mr. Wright. Tampering with the crime scene. So you did admit that you actually did see the bloody writing that Detective Arm left? My bad, I should have said so from the outset. You're sure it was your ID number? I am sure it was definitely my ID number. That number was assigned exclusively to me by the police department. The number is assigned to my goggles as well. Those contents were provided by the police department? Although these are special goggles customized by me personally.
Speaking of personalized, those sunglasses of mine were custom made as well. They were specially created to be particularly dark and shiny.
Speaking of special, my gavel is made of mahogany and, well, it's custom made as well. It was specially created to make a particularly loud and resounding sound. Wish I had something to brag about. Be all of that as it may, I just wanted to confirm you saw the bloody writing clearly. That was your ID number. That is correct. My ID number was written in blood on the floor.
Hold it!
10015R? And it was written after the bomb went off in the courtroom? Correct. I didn't know why she would write it, so that sent me into a panic. Sounds like you were in quite a tizzy.
If I were in his shoes, I guess it would have psyched me out too. Can't imagine coming across a message "Psychs" written in blood. If I saw gasp in pain written in blood, it'd certainly make me gasp. Rest assured, Mr. Tones, I understand how you must have felt.
Until you discovered the ID number written in blood at the scene end. That is right, I saw it with my own eyes. It very clearly said L10015R. I wonder.
Objection!
Yep. I just want to make doubly sure that L10015R is really what you saw written in blood. Yes, it very clearly said L10015R. That's odd, because that's not what I see.
Objection!
What on earth are you babbling about now? Wasn't it you who claimed that the bloody writing was his ID number in the first place? Take a good look at that photo in the bloody writing analysis. Now tell me, what does it really say L10015R? Oh, eep! Something is missing, isn't it? And that something is the final R. What is the meaning of this, Mr. Tonate? Oh, right. Now I remember. There was no R on the end. It was just a slip of the finger. My bad. Come back, my beautiful contradiction.
Mr. Wright, I'm not so sure it was just a simple slip of the finger.
You have something for me, Athena?
I sense that he's extremely agitated, almost panicked.
He does look pretty flustered. Well, Mr. Wright, it appears it was nothing more than a mere mistake.
I don't know. Did I really just make a typo? About that R, did Mr. Tonate really see it?
He very saw it. He very much saw it.
Maybe Tonate really did see that R. There was no R anywhere in the bloody writing. What's going on here?
Huh? Gotta take another good look at the photo. I think maybe. That's it!
What is it now, Mr. Wright? Are you trying to imitate Apollo in his course of steel?
I've got it. So that's what happened. The slip of the finger. Is that really all it was? Because I don't think so. I propose that Mr. Tonate really did see the letter R. But the photo clearly shows that there's no R. No, Your Honor, actually just the opposite is true. The photo shows that Mr. Tonate actually could have seen the R. If you're going to make that claim, then you'd better be able to point out what you mean. What part of the photo shows that Mr. Tonate could have seen the R?
I can.
Take that!
Please look here to the right of the 5. Do you see a little bit of red? Oh, I see it. Just on the edge of where the floor is broken up. That's the R that Mr. Tonate saw. It's true that the witness wears some very odd goggles, but that doesn't mean his eyesight is bad, nor his brain power. What part of that little smudge looks like an R to you?
Objection!
What Mr. Tonate saw wasn't that little smudge. There was a whole and complete R written there, before the floor was damaged by the explosion. Oh, well, that explains it, huh?
Care to explain what you mean? Because he just proposed that everything happened in the exact opposite order.
Yep, because that's the way it really went down. The timing of when the R was written turns everything about this case around. Now then, the floor was damaged by the explosion. When was the message written? with a bloody message running off the edge of the damaged floor like that. We can only conclude that it was written before the explosion. But that's ridiculous! If that were true, it overturns your own premise! That's right, it does. In fact, it turns everything upside down. The victim was not killed by the explosion in the courtroom. She was killed before the explosion ever occurred. Order! Order in the court! What kind of preposterous claim is that? Have you forgotten that the victim's body was found at the scene of the explosion? True, but consider this scenario. She was hit on the head and killed before the explosion, or even before the trial began. Her body was subsequently placed in the court ruins after the bombing occurred. That way it could be made to look like she was a victim of the blast. What? It sounds like we had better look into what the victim was doing before the trial. Dr. Payne, did anyone see Detective Om before the trial? Let's see. According to the police report... Ah, here it is. One person saw the victim before the trial. And that person was... Ted Tonate. Wait, what? No one besides Mr. Tonate saw the victim? That appears to be the case, Your Honor. I would now ask the court to recall something, specifically Mr. Tonate's words from yesterday. Oh my! Mr. Tonate, just before the trial, you were with the victim. The two of you were together at the scene of the crime, courtroom number 4. Agent LWOHPQZCX XXXCSEX BALLS. Your Honor, the defense requests new testimony from Mr. Tonate. We wish to hear what he has to say about his whereabouts just before the trial. Mr. Tonate, your testimony, please. My testimony, there's no need for... While J86Y9PO 4X3 asterisk N HBR 9 It's completely unnerved, Mr. Wright. Must have hit a nail on the head. Because Right, looks like this is our last testimony. All I did was transport the bomb to their courtroom. Blast this thing! I saw in the courtroom with the victim because of our work. I swear I was only transporting the bomb there.
Objection!
You and the victim were alone together at the scene of the crime. In other words, you certainly had the opportunity to commit murder, did you not? Just tisk. You always leave yourself so open to attacks, Mr. Wright. What now, Mr. Payne? Yes, Mr. Tonate may have had the opportunity to kill Detective Arm, but an important piece of your assertion is missing. What important piece? Motive. The murder weapon, what do you claim was used to kill the victim? Mr. Payne has a point. If Mr. Tonate had the chance without a weapon, we can't accuse him of the crime. Well, Mr. Tonate? Oh, yes, that's right. I didn't have any sort of thing that could be used as a murder weapon on me. I could possibly have killed Detective Arm. Really have nothing he could have used as a murder weapon? Oh, yes, he has. What is it, Athena? Just looking over the victim's autopsy report. I'm hoping there's something in here that can point us in the right direction. It does say that she died from trauma to the back of the head with a flat object. Yeah, and to inflict that specific kind of injury, all you would need is a flat surface, right? Heavy, blunt object with a flat surface could definitely be our murder weapon. Well, Mr. Wright, can you indicate for the court what was used to kill Detective Arm? The bomb was very heavy. If it were dropped on you, on your toes, it'd cause you to hop. You'd be hopping, as Athena said. Well, if it was dropped on your head, you won't be hopping. In fact, you might be dead. I believe I can. Believe being the key word here. You can? Then please do so now. What did Mr. Tonate have that could have been used as the murder weapon?
Take that!
Mr. Tonate, you say you didn't have anything that could be used as a weapon. But in fact, you had the perfect thing. What? What the devil are you talking about? You had this. That's the bomb. I thought you were trying to prove that the victim wasn't killed by the bomb blast. She wasn't. The bomb blast, no, but I believe Candace's arm was killed with this bomb. Because this is the blunt object that delivered the fatal blow to her head. Please recall the description of Detective Arm's head wound. Trauma to the back of head, caused by impact with a flat object. We assume this injury was sustained when her head hit the floor. But a blow from on a flat side of this bomb would produce the exact same wound pattern. Gag. What's with him? And show me some proof! Where's the evidence that I hit the victim with a bomb? Ah, he's right. I don't have anything decisive. The bomb was blown away. Did you find any of the victim's blood on the bomb? That would be decisive proof. But too bad the bomb is blown to bits. It's long gone! Boom! Game over! Yeah! Ugh.
Is that right? Is there really nothing on the bomb in the photo?
I don't see any blood or anything. Wait, timer display's a little broken here. Huh, I never noticed. Maybe it broke when it made contact with Detective Arm's head. That's definitely a distinct possibility. Unless we find a fragment with the victim's blood on it, it's not going to count.
I guess you're right.
By setting off the bomb, Tony managed to obliterate all traces of the murder weapon. What in the world do I do now? Leave it to the jury? At times like this, I've got to change gears and look at things in a different way. Instead of looking for things he wasn't able to hide, I should be looking for a way to expose the things he did hide. And Tony murdered Detective Arm before the trial started. We placed her body in the courtroom after the bomb went off, which means there was something he needed to keep hidden until then, and I think I have just the thing. Photo. I'm assuming it's either this or this.
Take that!
Your Honor, please take a look at this. The fact that Mr. Tony hid this makes it decisive evidence for my case. No, it's not. Is that wording really necessary?
Take that!
Your Honor, there's something we've all been overlooking. The murder took place before the trial, and Mr. Tony would have had to hide the body somewhere during the trial.
Hey, you're right, and if we can figure out where the hiding place was...
Exactly, we might be able to find some evidence we can pin him down with. Where could Mr. Tony have hidden the body during the trial? This thing? Wait, box big enough for a body. A box that was in the courtroom the whole time. Box nobody would touch if they thought there was a bomb in it. Mr. Tonate! What is it? Do you finally have some decisive evidence to show me? No, you're the one who's going to show it to me. Come again. You heard me. Now show me what's inside that bomb transport case. What? Why? No, there's no need. I've got him now. Just before the trial, you killed the victim with a blunt object, and then you placed her body in the ruins of the courtroom after the bomb went off. Clearly, you were trying to make it look like she died in the explosion. Where was the body hidden during the trial? Oh, I hadn't thought of that. The answer is right here. Inside a box made of thick alloy plating that can withstand any impact. No, that's completely false. If it's false, you should have no objections to showing us your transport case. So, let's open it up and take a look inside, shall we? Let's not. Not if you value your life. What's he up to now? Oh boy. Remain calm and listen carefully. This bomb will detonate in 5 minutes. What? You're joking. I repeat, this HH-3000 will detonate in 5 minutes. What's going on? Your Honor, I recommend you adjourn this trial. Before this bomb goes off, you're not making a good case for yourself here. Mr. Tonate, are you threatening me? I am the only one who can disable this bomb. If you do not want to die, your only option is to listen to me. Mr. Tonate, didn't you say that it's just a training model? A fake to practice on. I did, but I also lied. This is the real deal. This is the HH-3000. The HH-3000 was used to blow up the courtroom number 4, wasn't it? How do you know it was the real HH-3000 blew up courtroom number 4? Huh? The bomb that blew up the courtroom was a different one. One that I made. What? Then are we to take that as a confession on your part? Take it any way you would like. But before the trial, I took the HH-3000 out of the stuffed animal and put my own bomb into it. That was the bomb that exploded and destroyed the courtroom number 4. Mr. Tonate, please be reasonable. You really expect us to believe a crazy story like that? HH-3000, it is so unique, I had never seen anything like it. It is so unique that I could not replicate the detonation mechanism. So, I just had to have it. Besides, did anyone look inside the stuffed animal during the trial? Did anyone check to see if it really was the HH-3000 in there? I must confess, no one opened the stuffed animal to check.
So there really is a possibility that the bomb was switched out?
No, not a possibility, a certainty. I did it. I had the real bomb with him this whole time. You had better get out of here while you can. You do not have much time. Order! Order in the court! I'm out of here! It's gonna blow! Run! You four are still here. Well, well, aren't you brave? It just wouldn't do. It just wouldn't do for the judge presiding over this court to run. But that horrible explosion the other day. Judge looks like he's about to book it for the nearest exit any second. Mr. Payne. That is. Ah! And he's off. Mr. Wright, what do we do? It'd be pretty pathetic to run now, wouldn't it? But the bomb might really go off. Only 3 more minutes for. Okay, anime time. That bomb really the HH-3000? What should I do? Stand your ground! I can't run now. Well, it's been fun, but I will be going now. With my dear HH-3000, naturally. Oh, and by the way, I would advise against having me followed. Even with no remote switch, this bomb can still be triggered manually. If I think I'm being followed, I will detonate it on the spot. Farewell. You'd kill yourself. basically, for it. You're not going anywhere, Ted Tonate. Oh, Your Honor, there's no reason to be afraid. That bomb is a fake. Are you sure, Mr. Wright? No more of your famous bluffing, even at the risk of your own life. Mr. Wright, none of your bluffing now. Not at a time like this. Lives are on the line here. I'm not bluffing, and I have proof. You do? Yes, of course, Your Honor. It's right here in the photo of the bomb, clear as day. Prove that Mr. Tonate's bomb is not the real HH3000. Really? Out with it then, immediately! Where's the proof that what Mr. Tonate is holding is not the real HH3000? The display for the timer on the bomb on the photo is broken. Most likely it broke when Mr. Tonate used that bomb to attack Detective Arm. But the display on the bomb in front of us is not broken. Oh, you're right! Therefore, this is not the real HH3000. Mr. Tonate was clearly lying when he said he switched out the bomb with the stuffed animal. The real HH3000 blew up in courtroom number 4. This bomb is nothing more than a fake, a model used for training purposes. Rawr. Fear not, Your Honor. I'll examine the inside of the bomb transport case myself. Yes, please do that, Mr. Wright. No, stop! What is that? Is that a blood stain? Just as I expected. Your lies have all been blown to bits, Mr. Tonate. I'm confident DNA analysis on this blood stain will confirm that it's Detective Arm's blood. And that those results will conclusively prove that you murdered Detective Arm. How about it, Mr. Tonate? Think you can dismantle this decisive evidence? Dismantle it? Ah! You're too late! You missed your chance to run, so now you're out of time! This HH3000 is about to explode! Don't try to threaten us, Mr. Tonate. I've already proved that your bomb is a fake. It's real! This bomb is the real thing! I tell you! It's real! Mad Bomber, party of one. There's no time left! It's going to blow! I have to disarm it! I have to take it apart! I can dismantle anything! I can take apart evidence! I can take apart bombs! I can dismantle it all! Dismantle! I'm not gonna make it! Only one thing left to do! Stop! Made it! Game over. Dismantle attempt failed. It's all over. My life's been blown to pieces. It's all that stupid woman's fault. I was selling the bombs and disarmed on the black market. When I tried to take this one, she just had to notice, didn't she? She confronted me in courtroom number 4 that day. That's why I had no choice. Before I knew what I was doing, I hit her. It's all her fault. While I was looking for a place to hide her body, she left a message in her own blood. The trial was about to start, so I didn't have time to clean it up. And now all this. I thought for sure I could disguise her death with an explosion. And that stupid defense attorney started sticking his nose into my business. After my testimony yesterday, I went down to courtroom number 4 and I found that kid all up in my bomb transport case. That's when I snuck up behind him and BAM! And when the idiot police arrested that little girl, I thought for sure I could pin it all on her. Why? Oh, why? Antonit, you are hereby under arrest. On suspicion of the courtroom bombing and the assault on Mr. Justice, and so many goddamn more! Your innocence or guilt will be determined at a later trial. Now then, I see that members of the public have returned to the gallery. One person, however, seems to still be running far, far away. Be that as it may, I will now announce Miss Juniper Woods' verdict. Not guilty. Oh! So long, gasp in pain. Even without pain, he still gasps in pain. Away. Court is adjourned. It does make a nice sound, you have to admit. Fashionable. The judge got his hammer custom made from a rare brand.
You did it, boss!
Yeah, I guess we managed to pull it off somehow.
So many mysteries cleared up all at once. It was amazing.
Just sort of worked out that way, didn't it?
That's not the kind of thing that usually just works out. You made it happen. And the way that mean old prosecutor hightailed it out of there, that was great! Mr. Wright, Tina, thank you for everything you did for me. I'm so happy for you, Junior. I can go back home to the forest in peace. I hope the both of you will come and visit me there sometime.
That'd be nice. Thank you for the invitation.
I don't know, Mr. Wright. Not so sure you could make it all the way up to Junior's house. How high up do you live again, Junior? Around 3,000 feet, I think?
What? That's no forest, that's a mountain.
But you know, boss, there's something that still bothers me about the case. One little mystery we never got around to solving.
Oh, that? Yeah, I was wondering about that too. Is this the unsolved mystery you're thinking of? Okay, so it's either this or this. Huh? That wasn't the thing I was thinking of. Okay, so it was the bomb. Dang it. Glad mind reading isn't my day job.
I was wondering about the missing remote switch.
Oh, right. That unsolved mystery. Haha, I was just testing you.
Oh, so you're looking to get a reaction out of me, huh?
Now, always remember, the trial isn't really over until you get back to the office. If you get a not guilty, you still have to remember to stay sharp.
In other words, don't gloat too much over a victory, right, boss? Thanks for the tip. I still wonder where that remote switch disappeared to. Maybe Mr. Tony just got rid of it somewhere.
Yeah, it is a pretty big thing to leave unsolved, though. Well, let's leave it up to the police to find. Hopefully we'll find out someday. I guess you're right.
Hey, I know. Junior, shall we go report the good news? You know, for that certain someone.
Maybe the thing was found. The stuffed animal. I mean... Huh? Her grandmother?
No, silly, to Polo!
Oh, right. Well, why don't we all go to the hospital together to see him?
Great idea. I bet he's bored out of his mind. Okay.
So the courtroom bombing case came to a close. The next trial was just over the horizon. There's never a dull moment with so many lawyers in the office, that's for sure. Apollo Justice, Athena Sykes, and me, Phoenix Wright. Between the three of us, there's no case we can't solve. When our powers combine, we're an unstoppable team. At least, that's what I believed. But all of that changed with what Apollo said to us that day. Something that would put my faith in us to the ultimate test.
Sorry, but I'll be taking a leave of absence.
Wait, what do you mean by a leave?
Can you at least give me a reason why? I can only say that this is something I must settle on my own.
Oh, why, Apollo? Why are you shutting us out?
What happened to you, Apollo? Ever since you put that jacket on, you've changed. And now, for whatever reason, all my mind keeps doing is returning to the day I first met you. I tackled our first case together, he and I, this past spring. And as we did, I came to know who he is and how he thinks. It was a very peculiar case, one in which the victim was killed by a mythical creature.
Flashback episode.